Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining the first virtual fair for Conestoga College. And my name is Lisa Cronsbury from the student recruitment area of the college. And just before I introduce the chair of engineering and technology, Callan Stako, I'm going to do a little housekeeping items for you. So you folks that are joining us, there is a chat feature. So there's a Q&A. I apologize. A Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, so you can ask any questions there if you like. We also have, for those folks using iPads, it may be up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Anyone using phones, make it vertical so that you can see the presentation. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Callan Stako.
Well, hello, thank you very much, Lisa, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I have the pleasure to be here with you for probably 30-40 minutes and make a quick presentation for the School of Engineering and Technology and follow then with answers for your questions, which I assume that will be many, and we will try our best to answer them properly. So if you allow me to start a small presentation here that I will follow. It will help me to kind of go through the points I wanted to talk about. All right. And I will share the screen for you so everybody can see. Okay.
It hasn't gone on share screen yet.
Yep.
There we go. There we go.
I think now it's working. Yes.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to talk about 4 main points, and I'd like to present the school, kind of going through these 4 points, a few facts about the entire School of Engineering and Technology. We're going to talk about the full range of programs that we offer, some of the learning methods that you will experience at Conestoga, and also some of the infrastructure, a little bit about the active learning labs and shop spaces that we have. This is the campus where basically the college or the school exists, sorry. Now you see it, probably you've been already visiting through some of the open houses in the past, or it's a modern campus where you're gonna have all the amenities required for study, probably in the future, not in the near future, because as you all know, we experience now this remote and online learning. However, you might be there for some of the labs and shops for the fall term, and more information about that will come for sure. So in short, the School of Engineering Technology offers a comprehensive suite of engineering and technology programs, and we're going to speak a little bit about that further. We do have accredited degree programs, and we actually were the first college to offer an accredited engineering degree more than 15 years ago. Also we do have pathways. We offer pathways between some of the programs in technology and also from technology programs to the degree programs we offer. And again, we offer all this learning through active concepts, allowing students to apply directly the theory into the laboratories and shops to mimic very, very closely your future profession, really, and your future activity as a technologist or an engineer. So a few facts about the school. We do have 6 degrees already. 3 of them are in development currently. 17 certificates, 37 diploma programs, and 17 graduate certificates. We're going to speak about what those are shortly. So looking at the range of programs that we offer in the school, the certificates are usually 1 year. And as an example, I oversee a certificate program in the welding cluster, basically allowing students to learn to weld and be able to find a job in this trade right away after 1 year. Many students, many young, adults prefer to do that. These are followed by 2-year diplomas or OCD, Ontario College Diploma. There are quite a few programs like that, and the qualification after a program like this will be technician. Also, the 3-year advanced diplomas or Ontario College Advanced Diploma, OCAD. These programs will allow you to graduate as a technologist. So with 1 more year of studies, you can advance in the jobs or the job spectrum that you're looking at, including the wages and the responsibilities. Of course, the 4-year degrees follow. And as I said, we have 6 active degrees, and 2 of them strictly into the engineering field, 1 on electronics systems and another one in mechanical systems at this point, and complemented by 2 new ones that started a year or 2 years ago in power systems engineering and building systems engineering. We also offer graduate certificates, very popular for international students. However, they are open to domestic students as well. And these ones address students or help students that already have some kind of a credential to complement their studies and specialize into a certain area. And very importantly, we do have these pathways, and we allow students to actually migrate from a certificate program to a technician program, and maybe after that continue with a diploma, or then move forward to a degree, allowing them to, allowing some mobility and some choices, right? Definitely that's a good thing. And more so through these pathways, we encourage students to follow their education in a more progressive way, rather than, let's say, apply directly to a degree. You can complete a diploma 3 years, add 1 more year, and complete just the second or the last 2 years of the degree. So complete a degree in 5 years rather than 4, but with a much more progressive approach.
Oh, Callan, just a quick question before we move to the next slide.
Sure.
Which degrees are accredited?
Yes, we currently have 2 accredited degrees by Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board. Those are the Mechanical Systems Engineering, which was the first one to be accredited, followed by the Electronic Systems Engineering. Obviously, the names are self-explanatory for the areas that they offer the study, right? So the goal is all the engineering degrees that we will develop or are currently just started up to become accredited, and this is definitely our goal. All right, so hopefully that answered the question.
Thank you.
Yep. Moving forward to the infrastructure, and I'm going to speak here. All these programs that I mentioned, they obviously in the design of these programs, you will have a lot of courses where you're going to learn the theory, the concepts, to have that full understanding, of what you're going to do, when you start having the job and working in industry. But learning just theory is not the whole picture. I mean, you have to have the opportunity to apply those theoretical topics for real. I mean, to try, okay, I learned about something and my professor told me that this is what's going to happen. And I make a calculation and I indeed see that that's happening based on numbers. But what does that mean in real life, right? So you have to go into a real setting, into a lab or into a shop and experience that, right? Whether you do it into a laboratory, assignment or report after you collected some data into the lab using the equipment, or whether you do it in a project that you're going to have more time to work on towards the final goal. Regardless, you will have the opportunity in our programs to apply that theory, and that's extremely useful and helpful. There are spaces which are extremely large and accommodate, the appropriate number of students without anybody feeling, crammed or claustrophobic. We have really the largest college welding shop in Ontario, and it's really impressive, covering every type of activity in the welding and fabrication area. Also a very large multi-trade shop space with material removal, machining, but many other trades, hydraulics, pneumatics, robotic maintenance, electromechanical trades programs. So all these spaces develop in zones, and students in those programs utilize the different zones. Also, we do have custom-built labs, which simulate very closely the industrial environment. At Conestoga, we did not take the approach in engineering to purchase an equipment from an educational supplier that will do a canned or pre-established, type of activity that is repeated every year and is dry, and you will not find it anywhere in industry. But rather, we custom build real industrial equipment, which will offer you exactly the scenario that you're going to experience out there when you end up working in industry. That's a huge advantage. We use the most advanced industrial equipment that we can have, and also the latest technology, as 3D printing and utilizing lasers and really the latest achievements in industry as much as possible. So I guess at this point, I spoke a lot about the very comprehensive nature of what we offer in the school, within the Cambridge campus, and of course, under the current situation, which is unfortunate, studies currently in the summer, are definitely continuing 100% remotely or online. For the fall term, we're going to have a mix of online delivery with our very, very many efforts towards allowing students to come into the shop when it's absolutely necessary to experience that face-to-face and hands-on activity. So it will be slightly different than what happens now. And we all hope that this situation will improve very, very quickly, and we're going to be able to return to the normal, delivery. Here's an example of some of the successes that our students have. This particular group won the first place in the Ontario engineering competition that took place in Ottawa in 2018. And keep in mind that at these competitions, all universities in Ontario are participating. So here we have 4 students in a Conestoga degree from mechanical systems that proved to be better than all students from all universities in Ontario. So that kind of speaks a lot about the quality of the education you might be able to get here. And I'm hoping to convince you that that is the case. That was everything. I don't want to be a talking head here and keep you for too long, because I know you have a lot of questions. So I thank you for your attention for this presentation, and I can wait for you to come in and enroll in the courses for your education within the school at Conestoga. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kellen. That was awesome. Great information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are you able to share the screen? Doesn't matter. Okay, great.
Right.
So thanks again, Kellen. That was a lot of information, which is great. So engineering, again, is at the Cambridge campus, located at 850 Fountain Street in Cambridge. So we just have a few standard questions to ask, which is great. So you kind of alluded to what the fall might look like for the delivery of the programs. Could you just, some people had popped in, could you just reiterate that for me?
Absolutely, yeah. So up to this point, and obviously we will continue to fine-tune the situation and assess it further, but most likely, the decision at this point for the fall delivery will be a mix of theory. So technically, anything that can be delivered online, definitely all the theory courses, and everything that can be covered online from the laboratories and maybe the pre-lab activities, something that you need to prepare as a student before you go into a lab or a shop to have absolutely all the knowledge required, will be delivered and handled online by the professors, and you will have to complete the work that way. However, we strive to ensure that the components that need to happen face-to-face into a lab or a shop that cannot be replaced with any remote activity. We want to have students coming in the appropriate groups absolutely with the appropriate health and safety measures put in place in terms of physical distancing, in terms of sanitation, cleanliness, and all that, and in the appropriate number of students in a group to conclude those activities. So a mix of online and face-to-face as much as possible. Yeah.
Any tips for students coming into the programs that you could share?
Yeah, so everyone recognizes that online learning is very different than being in a classroom and attending a lecture. And of course, there are challenges. I think you will find that you might have to spend a little bit more time, in front of the computer and checking the materials that the professors are posting. I want to tell you that you will have two types of approaches. You will follow some type of a schedule with your professors when you're going to be live with the entire class or the entire group that you belong to into a lecture or into a session of questions and answers. Or you will have materials posted for you to access at any time at your leisure, either in the learning platform, which is Econestoga or D2L, or basically on traditional platforms like YouTube, on private channels that the professors are setting up, or the college will have set up. So I advise you for these portions of online learning to make sure that you're always checking these resources, and you're always in contact with your course and your email in order to have that communication open at all times with your professors, because there is important information that you need to exchange. And you'll find that you will spend more time in front of the computer at home, obviously, doing this. Needless to say, a good internet connection is very important. And you will find on the college, on the program websites very, very soon, clear instructions about your devices. And when I say device, I mean desktop computer at home, or a laptop, or a tablet. And I want to warn you that a smartphone will not be sufficient for you to handle the coursework. So don't rely on a smartphone, as it will not be sufficient, and there'll be problems with that.
Do you, can you kind of, like, I realize we're in this situation right now, but kind of what kind of a schedule was it like? Like, what kind of scheduling is there? Like, are there more class and then they were working on projects, like making things? And
so even projects, I mean, even lectures, traditional lectures or project work, which might happen remotely or might happen online, yes, the schedule basically will be given, timetable will be available. That you have lecture on a math course, for example, from 9 to 11, and you might not have anything else that day because we didn't schedule it as probably the best way for that professor for that course to deliver the course is posting materials, online, and have you study them independently. Of course, all professors will be open to questions and will assist you if you have questions, right? There'll be discussion boards where you participate, where you ask the question, where you're going to have responses.
I was just going to say, did the students work in groups? Like, is there some group work involved at all?
Yes, it can be. Students can form virtual groups. So let's say that a class of 30 students might be, split in 3 groups, and those 10 students are meant to be meeting virtually online, and have a discussion and exchange some ideas and put together some work that they need to submit as a group. But of course, evaluation and marks will be given for group work, but also they will be given for the individual participation. So being in a group doesn't mean that you get lost somewhere in the group and the professor won't know what you contributed with. No, it's going to be a mix of the two.
Is doing co-op beneficial to obtaining employment?
Absolutely. Co-op is very important. It was one of the active learning points that I had, and I should have spoken a little bit more about that, but here we go. We have the opportunity now. Co-op education really allows you as students to go and experience exactly what's going to happen in industry. after you have acquired some knowledge in the program of study. So you, after the first year, you're going to have a co-op term, you're going to go work for an employer, and you're going to have the chance to execute some tasks and solve some problems there. By the time you're finishing the program, if it's a 3-year diploma, let's say, or a degree, you'll have 3 co-op terms. After 3 co-op terms, you accumulate experience that you can put in a resume for your first job search after graduation. And very often, employers which offer the co-op positions will end up hiring the students back because they had a chance to see how, the value of their contributions. And it's definitely a huge advantage.
And sorry, where are some of the co-ops being done? Mostly in the Kitchener area or other areas?
Within a maximum of a 50 kilometers radius, I would say. So really, it's close by. We're working with a lot of employers, and we are fortunate because in this geographical area, we do have very large and important employers, covering a wide spectrum of engineering, domains, and places like Honeywell, places like Toyota, places like, automated tooling systems. These are big employers which constantly employ our students. And there are also small companies, even startups, where there is a different experience, but a very valuable one. So we're fortunate to have very, very good employers in the area.
And those are paid co-ops?
Those are all paid co-ops, and we have a co-op department that assists students in, learning the skills to create their first resume for job searching, and they'll be supported in this activity, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, and programs are still available for the fall?
Oh, you mean, of course they are available. All of them are available. We're going to offer all programs that we normally offer, for sure.
Well, I just meant like for folks out there that are thinking, yes, you can still apply for the fall, and you go to the Conestoga website,
Absolutely.
And it'll tell you which programs are still available. You apply through the Ontario Colleges .ca website to do your online application. So
definitely, and there is quite a bit of information on the college website looking at the specific programs. In order to obtain more information about the program and more details, also the website lists there, the coordinators for the program coordinators or the chairs responsible, you can address a question directly to these people, and you will obtain an answer if you don't find information on these sources which are open to the public.
Now, class sizes are some fairly small compared to like maybe a university where they might have quite a few.
Yeah. So just to give you an example, in a direct comparison with university programs, for our degrees, for a bachelor, for example, at any university in Ontario, in first year you're going to see 300-400 students at least, enrolled. We do have a class of 45 in year one, so it's 10 times smaller. And yeah, that's the case for the diploma program. Some are very popular and might have a larger enrollment, but none of them really goes beyond 90 students. So 90, 100 students would be absolutely maximum. This is for extremely popular programs. But these programs are popular because they're of good quality, and then we keep getting that high number all the time. They're not necessarily easy programs, and I have to be very honest that it is a lot of work. At Conestoga, we're trying to keep a very high rigor, even on the diploma programs or the certificate programs. We have high expectations from students, but the benefits will show at the end when you graduate, and you're going to be a very valuable employee, and you're going to find employment very easy.
And we have some awesome pathways, right? You could, if you're not sure which technology program, maybe you start with Technology Foundations.
And I'll explain how we do that. So we created clusters of programs. So for example, the Mechanical Engineering Technology cluster has 4 programs, but we created a common year one for all these programs. So the student at the end of the year one has the option to shift or switch from a program to another based on their affinity or their desire. The same thing happens with the welding cluster programs. We have the same setup with the common first year, and programs can switch easily from one to another. Yeah.
Great.
And also from diploma programs to degree. As I mentioned, we have a graduate from a 3-year diploma program can look at bridging, as we call it, into the degree in the 3rd year. And then you will complete a degree in the last 2 years. So, and we've seen a great deal of success for these students because naturally after graduating a 3-year program, you learn how to study, you know how to approach learning, you're comfortable with that environment, and definitely you will be much more, excuse me, successful in that degree.
And the other thing is success stories.
That's right. So I gave you the example with the team of students, and they were in year 2 in that degree when they obtained the first place province-wide in the engineering competition. But that's not the only one. We do have extracurricular activities, projects like the Mini Baja car, the Formula SAE electric car.
The Hacksmith on YouTube.
The Hacksmith and
Yes.
Actually, the Hacksmith is a graduate of the mechanical systems engineering degree. So there you go. Conestoga strikes again.
Yeah, and also Ian, his partner, is a grad of the program as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. The both of them. Yes. Yeah.
Ian
Both
Hillier.
Jamie and Ian.
Ian Hillier, yes. So any other?
Yeah, it's funny because they were my students, both of them.
Oh yeah. Oh, so that's great. And also, is there? What's the best way to find, like on the website, right? Do you folks also have another link, website link, or people go right to the Conestoga website?
Through the Conestoga website, and up top, on the website, there are the options under full-time programs, and they'll be listed right there, under the every school. So navigate down, scroll down to the School of Engineering and Technology, and then you will see listed all the programs offered by the school.
And the other
bonus, probably show quickly on the screen if we have the time.
Okay. And also there's some individual videos per program, which is awesome too.
That's right. So just let me navigate quickly there, and all right. So that's exactly what you will see under the School of Engineering and Technology. I will share the screen immediately. Okay.
Yeah, technology is one of those areas that's changing rapidly too, eh?
Oh, definitely. So right now, you see the site of the school, and then the list of all the programs with obviously the link to more information. And you can see here, the degree programs, but then down here,
you find a lot of women are getting involved with the engineering?
So yeah, just showing now how comprehensive information is on the program page. Yeah. With a lot of menus. So yes, we constantly fight to attract more female students in engineering, and we do have initiatives in that direction. For sure, we have every year, the Go Eng Girl Day, when we invite high school, and primary school girls to experience what engineering is, and hopefully attract them more. At this point, I would say that the presence is relatively small, unfortunately. Probably 5%. If we get 10%, we're lucky. But all female students had an excellent experience, and they were all, interestingly enough, all very strong students and integrated very well into the groups. Definitely, there's absolutely no specific challenge with that. It's just that we would like to have more, but that is a province and countrywide situation. And I probably should say worldwide situation, where, for a variety of reasons, female students are not attracted very much to engineering, with the exceptions of the ones they are, but not very many. Yeah. So to navigate here, basically, you're just going to program some courses. You can go to full-time programs or directly degree programs, whatever you are interested. You can navigate through co-op, but if you go full-time programs, basically you're gonna have all the schools listed. And under engineering and technology, there's a school home, and then you look at the different categories, right? If you wanna see all programs, you're gonna get here. So there's a lot of information there, including the one for pathways or bridging, links and information about the people that you can contact for more information.
Well, you could finish all those programs and even get a graduate certificate if you wanted to as well.
That's correct. That's correct.
Another 1 year to enhance your skills. So
yeah. And I think they are listed here as well.
I'm thinking of
this one, for
environmental.
example, is one graduate certificate. You see the abbreviation of CGC, and it's a 2-year program, basically, yeah, allowing you to specialize in robotics and industrial automation. That program starts in winter, so the first enrollment now is for winter 2021.
Right.
Right.
Okay, is there any other great information you could share with us about engineering as a?
So all I can say, that engineering is difficult. Being into engineering programs is a lot of work.
Right.
Because it involves mathematics, it involves science, it involves rather difficult concepts to understand. But once you understand them and once you make the connections between them, they will, that will give you the opportunity for a very rewarding career. You will have the opportunity to have a lot of professional satisfaction, if you'd like, because engineers are creators, right? Engineers are designing, are creating, are ensuring that everything built is going to last and is going to be safe. And it's a very rewarding profession. So I would think that everybody that is attracted to it and wants to pursue a program, I encourage them and I encourage you as students to do that because it will be rewarding in the end. I followed that path. I don't regret it one bit. And it's very good and rewarding. So that's what we're trying to do here within the school at Conestoga, is to ensure that the students will have everything that they need to be successful in this profession.
Well, that's awesome. So thankful for you, Callan, to be sharing all that information with us.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate that, and I'm sure the participants appreciate the information you shared. So we're just going to wrap things up. For you folks, we do have, as I mentioned, great videos on particular programs in the School of Engineering. And if you're interested in doing that, you can get access that through our website. They're called the Demand Program videos. You can book online guided tours or a virtual tour if you wish. So thanks again for participating. If there's any questions, we are going to have a survey you can fill out. Also, if there's questions we're not able to answer today, we will get to those through our student recruitment team at the recruitment at conestogac.on.ca. So again, thanks everyone. Thanks, Callan. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Lisa and everyone. And we can't wait to see you, being enrolled and starting the work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.